Well, guys, welcome back to the Big Screen Show. I'm Alex.
It's Wyatt.
And today we are looking to our latest review, which is Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher's film Companion, which honestly is actually a surprisingly fun film. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
it was
really enjoyed it.
definitely entertaining. Definitely a film that anybody can just have fun with watching, you know?
Yeah. No, so you want to start with what?
Yeah, I'll start. Well, it was a fun tech thriller. Uh really entertaining. Some people said that the trailer gave a little too much away with it, but luckily for me, I do not watch trailers, so everything was a surprise to me. I didn't even know what the movie was about. I knew it was called Companion going in. So really I guess not saying any spoilers, there was some surprises for me during this movie which made the experience a good one. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was a really good one-time watch, but I don't see myself running this movie back anytime soon. What did you think, Alex?
Uh, yeah, first off, actually, yeah, I'm the same as you. Like this, I'm usually someone who like watches like a lot of trailers, but nowadays there are some trailers from some movies I'm excited for where I only just want to watch the one, and then for some I sparingly or sometimes don't watch the second trailer. For Companion, I did not watch the second trailer, so like majority of everything that I saw was like a huge surprise for me, which made it much more fulfilling experience for me. So like honestly, I already loved the movie. How it basically went through like kind of like a bit of like a dark comedy romance thriller type esque film. Not quite sure where to put it in this specific genre, but it was made to be like so very interesting and like fun and always had these nice little like chaotic twists and turns where everything seems like builds bigger and bigger for like much greater impact, which honestly makes some of the situations even more funny, but also kind of adds a bit more depth to it and creates this kind of intriguing dynamic and stuff with everything that goes on in it. And I gotta give it to like the leads, Sophie Thatcher, and of course gotta give it to Jack Quaid. That dude is like has been like a rising star for like a really good while now. So like him taking this new role into like this no new way that's very relatable as we're going to talk about later on, with also a bit of like a little dark twist sense in there we'll get to. But again, Sophie Thatcher, she nailed it in her role as like the leading star in this one, and she does phenomenally well because like I haven't seen her since like in like last year's 2024 movie Heretic. And again, this movie does a really great job of like doing. Well, I'm not no spoilers here, but kind of gives like a good like metaphor allegory for like for like relationships and couples. So like this is like a pretty good like dark thriller dark thriller comedy romance twist on it. So honestly, it's very entertaining. And again, this is a good watch for me. I wouldn't watch it like a lot, but I will watch it with somebody else for like, wait, what's a good fun movie to watch here? And I would suggest this because it's like really good. Cause like I give it 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10, man. I do think Sophie carried in this movie. Without her and without giving any spoilers, her facial expressions during the movie were really stellar to me. The other actors very subpar in this movie. Uh very subpar other actors. Sophie must have been the only one that got paid, but she carried. She did carry in this movie. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, like I said, she definitely carried. But again, I think most of the stuff wouldn't work if it was only just her. Because I think Jack Quaid also carried most of it. Because I think these are like the two primary characters, and they are in like most of the marketing press interviews. So basically, it was really reliant on what they had within the movie, and also why I think it makes a much more thrilling experience watching it. And again, the supporting characters in there, the other actors, they did a good job. Again, they weren't terrible, but they're good. They did what they were paid to do. adding their situation there adds to like more the chaotic mess and everything that goes along in the plot. So yeah, everybody did a great job all around, and so yeah, they
Yeah.
did their thing.
Okay. 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Do you want to get into spoilers, or you got anything else you want to get into before we get into spoiler territory?
Yeah, let's get into spoiler territory, man.
Okay. You got anything to start us off?
All right. Well, first of all, for all our viewers watching, we already know where to go from here. We already gave our first initial thoughts. We're now going into spoiler territory here. So, if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you go and see it and then come back. If you have seen this movie, then you know where we go from here. We're going to continue right along. The thing I want to start with is actually Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid's characters, Josh and Iris, because where at the beginning it always seems like they're like they do this like very nice opening where it's kind of like this whole meet cute situation where like them meeting each other for the first time, falling in love, you know, like soulmate, fall in love at first sight type shit. But then later on, as we see their relationship play out within like the first half hour of the film, they seem very nice and sweet, like the good couple that you want to be. But then you do start to notice a bit of a thing between them, like especially like when they get to like this whole like a little isolated house cabin type thing where Josh and Iris want to meet up with Josh's friends and everything. At the start, you see like how it's like Iris is literally the one who's like carrying all the luggage, and then Josh is kind of like very dominant, assertive, almost kind of controlling a little bit to how he wants things done the way he wants, where she's kind of very subservient. So it's like there's kind of a red flag here somewhere. You know what I mean?
Man, you're right. There was some red flags going into it, and I didn't know that she was a robot companion until it like was revealed. So to me, I was kind of picking up on these signs, like what's going on with their relationship, you know?
Yeah, but then right when we get to that reveal, it's like that makes so much sense now because as we're getting more into the plot, where after we have found out that after the aftermath, where Iris literally stabbed this Russian business dude with a knife that was apparently
Man.
in her pocket. I was not expecting it. That was gnarly. And then right when that whole little twist thing happened, I didn't know something before. Like she didn't walk normally when she was walking to the beach. Like she wasn't swinging her arms. She was kind of like monotonous, one form type walking,
Oh,
which I
that's
think
good.
is
That's because he
good.
turned her stuff up in the bathroom. He changed her settings in the bathroom. You remember? He had the mod that made her more aggressive.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That shoe always one he was mostly using his phone throughout most stuff in the movie, but like
Yep.
that makes so much sense in the later reveal where he's using the phone to try where he found out that he actually like had jailbroken hacked his own companion girlfriend
Yes,
type
yes, yes.
thing.
Because they went in the bathroom with the phone after she left. And I was like, oh, dang, he must have like a porn addiction or something. He's gonna go watch some porn. You know, like
Yeah.
he's trying to hide it on this drive or device. Like I thought it was something like that, and then it ended up that he had a mod on this robot that made her more aggressive and made her attack Esteban or whatever. His name's not Esteban, but the Russian guy.
Yeah, it was Sergey. His name was Sergey. That was it.
Sergey. But she had the knife in her pocket and ended up killing him. Man. And I thought it was like, see, I didn't know she was a companion, so I thought it was like real, you know? When she came running up to the house saying like, "Oh, I accidentally killed Surrogate," and then they
Yeah.
shut her down, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" It was a good surprise. If you didn't watch the trailer, you were. It was good.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Then that moment happened, like my jaw was like on the floor. I was like, what? Seriously? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an insane moment. But then as we find out later on, this whole thing with the visit to the cabin, she was really basically being set up from the jump to basically be forced to kill Sergey, all because to steal his money.
Off of the cash.
Yeah, but I think what's also great about it is it's not as straightforward as that, where it's like it's kind of like not like a misunderstanding, but it's like it's kind of like misunderstanding the particular reason as to like why. And I think that's also what kind of makes this movie kind of more fun and comedic, where they find out, well, basically Josh's friend named Kat, who was basically like Sergei's like mistress's lover, since he was a married dude and like whatever. She basically had told Josh that, he's not a really nice guy, but then Josh had like this idea in his head that he thought there Sergei was like a Russian gangster tied to like the mafia, arms dealer, trafficking type stuff. But as we find out later on, she never said that, but she made him believe that, and they basically just wanted an excuse to take all the money. And it's like, really, like that? That's just terrible. She sucks as a person. She's horrible.
Man, they kind of both suck. They both suck at people. I think everybody sucks as a person in this. All the main characters were sucky people. I wouldn't want none of these people as friends, except for maybe Sergey. Sergey.
I don't know, because Sergey, he's a bit of a scumbag, but not terrible, not an evil person, but he's not that good a person either. He's a scumbag, but that's about it.
But I wouldn't want to be friends with none of the characters in this movie. Nobody to be friends with. But I think that's where the movie took a little turn for me. After the surprise, and then they revealed that the main character and the girl that we were just talking about, I forget the characters' names, but they were scheming together to get this money the whole time. And after that, that's where it kind of took a turn for me, because things got a little fishy. The first thing I can think of is when it first happened, they called the police and they were talking to the police outside, but the police never showed up. There was the one police officer that she encountered later in the movie, but he wasn't going to the house with his lights on because there was a murder type deal. He was just patrolling, So where was the police that they actually called when he was on the phone? And remember, she snuck out, and they had that scene.
Yeah, I think another thing was, actually what it was, they were actually calling the company that Iris belonged to, the company, I forgot the name of the company, but they're basically trying to blame her whole murder thing as like kind of like a glitch in her system. So like then they would have gotten away with like the whole murder thing and the money. They could just frame Iris, and she gets like rebooted, reset to just be sent back to like the factory that she was made from and everything. So like calling the cops thing was kind of part of the plan, but it's mostly just using like the company to get them to come and collect. What the cops thing was more of an afterthought, because again, the Kat and Josh were basically going to use their friends Eli and Patrick, who, as we turned out, Patrick was also a companion robot. Was kind of a surprise there.
As soon as she was revealed, I knew it, because I was already having thoughts. I'm like, what is this guy doing with him?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. So like that was not much of a surprise, but it was kind of a good like, we knew it, and I glad we were right to see it, because it does make a lot more sense, and because kind of built on like the more core themes and aspects of like the relationship between like Iris and Josh, and Eli and Patrick, where as with Josh and Iris, one is basically the controlling one in the relationship, or one is the subservient one, whereas with Eli and Patrick, do you actually believe there was an actually equal partnership relationship in there where they actually fully love each other? Because we find out Patrick had already knew that he was like a companion automaton type thing, but like him and Eli didn't care. That was actually authentic love. Whereas with Josh and Iris, it was pretty much one-sided love, where Iris was kind of like, yes, made to love Josh, whereas Josh was kind of using her as more like an outlet. Because again, Josh is basically a loser who never amounted to anything. Dude complaining about life, his one-bedroom apartment, probably doesn't even have a job, because we find out later on Iris was rented. She wasn't bought. So that man clearly can't even pay to buy his own automaton.
Yeah, no, I know. Sad. Do you think the future is going to be like this?
Yeah, trust me, man. I've thought long and hard about the whole AI thing. I'm terrified of it with the whole Bobbit thing, because like it's probably is gonna happen, but I'm not gonna be getting none of that. I'm gonna stay away from that. But I will tell you this: That's my fear. AI come out getting like emotion, thinking like humans, and then want to do like a whole uprising thing. I tell you what, I'm gonna be locked, stocked, and ready for when that war comes. I'll be that. I'm gonna tell you that.
Man, I don't even know if we'll be alive for that. You know, I think it'll be past our time
Hey,
when if an uprising happens. You know,
hey, hey, if it does happen, belongs to the next generation. I'm already out.
yeah,
I'm up in heaven, just watching the show like it's a movie. I'm gonna
man,
be up there.
we gonna get our kids ready. We gonna leave some inheritance.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna leave my kids a safe room full of guns and locked and loaded, trained and ready for combat. For when that war comes, they're gonna survive. They're gonna be ones to survive as best they can. I'll tell you that.
Man, I love it. I love it. If we have any AI uprising uh theories
Yeah.
um out there, chime in because it might happen one day. Conspiracy theory here. Uh Anything else about the movie, man? That was my first complaint. Man, the movie was pretty wild, you know?
Yeah, I think it's also
After
what I like
that, it was
about
just a
that.
taste. It was just kind of like a cat and mouse game, you know?
Yeah, well, I thought that was fun. I think also what makes it even more enjoyable is the fact that they all didn't fully think things through because like they're not genius masterminds. They're just kind of like spur of the moment thinking on instinct, which again is very realistic for something like this. Because like something like this, you're lying all the way through. You're not really fully thinking all the way through. Your one plan goes wrong, then you don't even count on your automaton companion girlfriend escaping and clocking you in your throat as she tries to get away from you. That was a good moment where she literally throat punched Josh to stop, so then she could stop him from like putting her to sleep and everything. Because
Yeah.
again, she was resourceful, honestly, way more than like what any of them was. I mean, seriously, they even had a gun, and they still couldn't even get her either after that fact.
It kind of showed how dumb the humans were, you know? Yeah, being dependent
Yeah,
on the AI all the time, you get dumb.
I know. Yeah, don't that tell you something about modern society, right?
Yeah, yeah. Real talk. I mean, you can even see it. I can even see it with myself, like with something as simple as spelling. Autocorrect. I don't have the necessary like need to be able to spell words anymore. It always gets autocorrected. So when I'm writing, I find my spelling is worse now with because of autocorrect. Same, I feel like it's the same thing with like AI and many other things that are relevant now.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, the whole subject thing with like AI and robot thing, that could be a video in itself, man. There's a lot of ideas like that, and a lot of movies from the past that could really show like a type of way about it, like the movie The Creator. That's one.
Oh yeah, I want to give that a rewatch. I saw it was on available for streaming. Are you Terminator fan? You watched all the Terminators?
I only watched the good ones, which was the first two. The rest are terrible.
Man, the newer ones are pretty bad. I like the OGs. Uh, that last one was very bad.
Oh yeah. It's basically just a cheap retread of what T2 was, but a not very good way.
I know. It sucked. It sucked. But
Yeah. But
those first two
honestly,
Terminators are
yeah,
OG.
but honestly, for the most part, I really do love mostly this movie with its concept again, like relationships and like again, you can really see this movie as like a type of like warning relationship in some way or another. Because again, Iris and Josh, the perfect example of a relationship that is not good and does not work because it's toxic. Because Josh, he basically escalates from like a controlling boyfriend to honestly he's abusive and out of control because again he basically went from like this dude with a simple plan. He basically essentially gets pushed around, then after each escalation every single time he just kind of gets pushed further to the edge where he's forced to literally his own girl to literally put a bullet in her own head. But again, even funny about that one, that didn't even work right. Because again, as we find out later on, she shoots herself in the head. It doesn't kill her or do anything to damage anything. It just affects like the whole like Wi-Fi connecting route, where the whole main thing with like memory and most circuitry stuff is down as below at the bottom.
Man, what a twist when
Yeah.
you thought they did it, they're about to pick up the body, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just play back the video." And they're like, "What? This was recording video the whole time?" And they thought they destroyed it in the head, and dude's like, "No, no, it's stored down here." It's like, what's in her abdomen, you know?
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, for some movies, that would feel like an unnecessary extension of the runtime. But I think because the movie sets up so well that they're not all masterminds and they're just kind of like idiots running around scrambling and trying to fix a situation, a mess that they created themselves by using Iris. It just shows that they really have no fucking clue what they're doing. Especially Josh, because he was like, "Oh man, I'm screwed," and so he just decides to basically send like a reprogrammed Patrick to kill the company guys. I was trying to like bring Iverson back to the shop and like.
It was funny when he took over Patrick. Now that you say that, when he had to reboot Patrick, and you saw their like the story of them meeting at that Halloween party. It's
Yeah.
like what?
Re-edit memories. That
That was
was a
funny.
crazy moment, but
They were good at putting comedy in it, but not overdoing it. You know?
yeah, they found like the perfect balance in that one, where it didn't feel forced, it felt natural, and it got to where we needed to be for every situation.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of anything else about this film.
Oh, but I think could possibly be like, again, Iris is like pretty strong core moment of like a woman getting out of a toxic relationship. That's like first of all, kill again. Literally go from again
Yeah.
her being from being with a possessive boyfriend, abusive, but then she used to find her strength. She used to break out again with her being free from like the whole constraints of like of her programming, where she could literally kill him, which she did in like the most gnarly way with that wine opener thing. That was insane. I love that moment. But
Man.
yeah, then she's like literally finds like the strength in her own scars, where like again, her hand had been part of her hand, or at least like the skin layer of the hand had been burned. But then like she just owns it. Then she drives out into the sunset with some freedom to start like a whole new life or whatever. Because you don't know what she's gonna do, but she's free, and like her ex is dead. So like, hey, that's empowerment right there.
It is like Terminator met a story of a shitty female relationship. You know?
It could be made in a sense like that in a way.
You can tell. Who wrote this? Do you know who wrote this? Who directed this movie? Who was behind this film?
Yeah, the dude behind it was actually Drew Hancock. He was actually one of the dudes who usually was behind one of the films like Barbarian, which I think was back in 2022. But it was actually his directorial debut, which he wrote by himself. And honestly, he did a very fantastic job for his directorial debut, because I couldn't have believed it was done so well. Because most directorial debuts nowadays could sometimes be hit or miss, but then again, the hits are really good. Like Zoe Saldana's Blink Twice movie from last year.
Yeah. I like Blink Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost went in my top 10.
Yeah, it almost went in mine too. Yeah. Some other stuff had to be put on there.
Yeah,
All for
it just didn't make it.
Yeah. It's a good honorable mention though, but hey, we're mentioning it now. So like check that out if you hadn't.
Yeah, Blink Twice. Really good movie. Go check it out. We already did a review for it, so after you check it out, go check out our review. Other than that, what you thinking, man? This movie is. I really feel like they were trying to bring the female audience in with making it kind of like the relationship vibe, like you were saying. And man, I think they did a good job with it, man. This movie was solid.
Oh yeah, for real. They did a phenomenal job. And hey, if Drew Hancock is doing like any other movie, hey, I'm gonna be there to see it.
Yeah. What's coming out next?
Now, for us, the next one is, since we're now in February, we're now getting to like the more Valentine's Day appropriate type of movies. Where for our next review, we're gonna be doing like the slasher film Hard Eyes, and also doing like kind of like a kind of like a rom-com action type vibe with Kehu Kwan as like the lead of a film, and like probably like it might be his first time ever after so many years from him being out of Hollywood until currently being back in the Hollywood space now for his movie Love Hurts. So we're probably gonna have that video out for us within like probably the week after, like next week or the weekend after, when those two movies release, which is going to be on February 7th, February 6th.
All right, nice. So we got some Valentine's Day movies coming up, man. I think that's all for Companion, everybody. Thank you for being with us. Make sure that y'all make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you comment your rating on what you gave Companion and what your most anticipated movie is for February. We'll be back with you very, very soon. I'm Wyatt.
I'm Alex.
And we'll see y'all soon. This is the Big Screen Show. Thank you.